All right, we're live here, the Quantum Money Transformation Show. We're talking about transforming your dead weight beliefs into weighted gold. Why? Because what else are you doing? What else are you doing with your baggage? What else are you doing with the negativity that you're carrying around about money? And whether you have money or don't have money, whether you like money or hate money, either way, we all have our belief systems about it. Why? Because it controls our reality. It seems to. And that quote was for the word control, not for seems to, because it certainly seems to control our reality, but it doesn't really. It just has the power we give to it. And it's the biggest fallacy. It's the biggest fallacy because it's not even backed by anything. Like how ridiculous is this that we give all our power, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's, fiat currency, and, different countries have different setups, but, the US dollar is, and we're not talking specifically about the economy or anything, but the US dollar is the world currency. As far as I know, it still is. And, not that I keep up to date on that stuff because I don't, watch the media or anything. But the point is, like, it's not backed by land. It's not backed by gold. I mean, it's just people printing stuff. And yes, am I maybe simplifying it? Perhaps. Is it more complex than that? Maybe. But I think if we boil it down, even if it was backed by something, it would still be our belief in it that it's worth whatever. But the fact that it's not is crazy. Like, it's absolutely nuts. But people continue this kind of sleepwalking state of reality because they don't know what they don't know. They don't know a better way. And they've been conditioned to pay attention to the media. But we want to get even bigger than this, right? We're talking about money versus abundance. That's the nature of this episode. And we want to talk, well, I'm going to talk about this, and then Malik's obviously going to drop his bit. But the idea is, like, we deceive ourselves tremendously. And, I talk about following the high coaching method. So that's the acronym HIGH. And the first stage is honesty, integrity, gratitude, humility. And, like, I live that to the best of my ability. And that's the idea behind what we do during our classes through the week as well, is activating that within ourselves so we can have a healthier relationship with money, a healthier viewpoint. But in this journey, as you're penetrating through your negative perceptions about money, all the shadow energy comes up, all the darkness, all the negativity, all the stories, and not just in your head, but people come up out of the woodwork to, demonstrate to you your beliefs. And that's where you get the best reflections, is in other people, because your nature is to say, no, it's not in me, it's in them, and you project it onto them and you make them wrong. But the fact is, if someone's coming up in your reality and giving you a hard time and triggering you, you created that. And if it's around money, if someone's impeding on your ability to generate cash flow, or seemingly to, or they, wanting to take something away from you or making it harder than it needs to be, that's your own belief system at play. So you get a tremendous opportunity to really work through that stuff. And, as we started this show, or I started this show, and it's gone through a couple of different phases, but we've had those people come out of the woodwork, and, there's some crazy stuff going on behind the scenes, but it's laughable. Like, it's a joke, because the way the ego operates is it comes out presenting one thing, but it's actually completely something else. And, there's an analogy in a book about money, and I don't recall the exact title, but it talks about this idea of, like, big hat, no cattle. And that's kind of the keeping up with the Joneses idea. But that's just the ego in its epitome. Is it shows up to be this thing that it's not at all, and it puts on this wonderful presentation. And in, for example, the spiritual text, A Course in Miracles, which is something I've been a student of for many years, it talks about how the ego presents itself with this frame that looks golden, and this portrait that has these diamonds and rubies. But when you look a little closer, you see that the diamonds and rubies are actually drops of blood and tears. And it's, quite dramatic, because that's the nature of what A Course in Miracles is in terms of its depiction. But that's exactly what the ego is all about. It's like, hey, it's dropping these things to say, hey, this is what it is. And then when you get a little closer, you're like, whoa, that ain't what's going on here. So, that's a great segue into the distinction between money and abundance. But before we jump into that, Malik, what are your thoughts on this journey for, like, the people are creating more money for themselves? They're going through their belief systems. What's your perception of that?
I mean, I think that, when people are going through their journeys and they're, creating more revenue for themselves, it's a process, right? And it feels good when you reach a certain level of success, but it takes a lot to be able to maintain that. And there's all types of beliefs around money that kind of hinder the progress in those directions sometimes. And, it's one thing to be able to make money, it's another thing to be able to keep it. And, we're talking about money versus abundance today, right? And sometimes people might be trying to go out there and accumulate money, and they might be forgetting about other types of abundance that they may be lacking on, right? And I think that this is a major thing that's happening today where everyone's infatuated by money. And like you said, majority of people are putting on some type of facade because they're really just trying to fill their ego. It's not even really about the money. It's about making themselves look like they have money or look like they have something. And this is what the new era has basically became of, is just a keeping up with the Joneses type era where everyone has to show every single thing that they accumulate, and they're forgetting about all of these other areas of abundance, right? And that just brings me to a really good point. I mean, Steve Jobs, may his soul rest in peace. He was a great person and he was definitely a pioneer, and he had all the money in the world, right? But since he didn't have other forms of abundance such as health, he wasn't able to still be here with us today, right? So I think that people need to really put a microscope on other areas of abundance. And money is probably not the be all and end all in my book, but for some people it may be. And I think that if you really look at all the other forms of abundance out there and you weigh them on a scale versus money, I think that some forms of abundance may be worth more than money. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's so great. And I think that goes back to like how we deceive ourselves as human beings, right? Like we make one thing more valuable than another. And it's like, wait a second, where we're headed here in this economy is to equalize out the different forms of abundance. So is money important? Yes, but so is every other aspect of life. It's not that money's more important, it's not that oxygen's more important. It's like it's all equally as significant. They're all pieces to this puzzle. They're all parts of this existence of the clock of existence rather that required no matter how big the piece or how small the piece is in order for existence to function. So if one thing's missing, it's not going to function effectively. And that's exactly about the distinction of money versus abundance. So let's dive deeper into it. Let's number one define abundance. And the way I've learned abundance to be defined is the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. So what does that mean? It means we're all naturally abundant because we have what we need when we need it. And so hallelujah, just giving power to that as a fact that I am made in the image of God. I am one with source power. Everything that is source is mine in the way that is relevant for me. And what I need for my journey of growth and evolution is here, is now, and always accessible. So that's, if you broaden your definition of what abundance means, then you'll realize you have everything. But that ego doesn't want to do that, right? It's like it wants to limit the viewpoints. And then, well, let's talk about abundance first and then how money fits into it. So, how do you define abundance, Malik?
I mean, my definition of abundance would be when you have access of a certain type of thing, right? So I would say like a person that has, tip top health, maybe this guy's working out in the gym, he's really taking care of himself. Like he has a physique. Whenever you see this person, you're like, okay, this guy's really taking care of his body. He's trying to really make sure that he's here to be here with his children or for the next generation or whatever the case may be. That could be one form of abundance. Another form of abundance could be having an excess of children, maybe like myself. I feel like this is a form of abundance that I've been blessed with. I have 6 kids, right? And there's some people out there, they try everything in the world to have children and they're not able to have them, right? And then you have other people that can have a multitude of children, which would be considered an abundance. And if we took this, to, the olden days, children were considered abundance. It was a way of considering someone to be wealthy if they had a lot of children, right? So that was another form of abundance. So there's all types of different forms of abundance, but for my mindset, I would say it's when you have an access or you have surplus of a certain thing. So when someone has an abundance of wealth, that means that they have surplus income that they can distribute and things like that.
Amen. Yeah, that's amazing. And yeah, looking at the history of what people have valued over time, because there was a point in time where money didn't even exist in the way that it does, right? So obviously something had way more value than money. So looking at money as a form of exchange, money is a part of abundance. So what are the components of abundance, or the most essential ones? Well, we have the idea of money, but also the idea of exchange, right? Because exchange or trade existed before actual money. So that must be something where you can trade your time for one another, with one another. The idea of like giving gifts to one another as well, right? Like it could be the gift of your time, it could be a physical gift, it could be the gift of insight, it could be, gifts can take many different forms, of course. The idea of imagination, where you're activated, you're tapped into source power. I mean, that potentially is the greatest form of abundance, because that's from where everything is created, is in your imagination. Without the imagination, you wouldn't have anything. You wouldn't exist, because everything's created in that mind, in those images that are conceived from source power, and we receive them into our physical mind and take action on them in this physical reality. The idea of communication, the idea of connection. These are other forms of abundance, right? Like connection, that could be like the number of children you have, or the number of friends you have, or how great your network is in business, and not from a stance of like, hey, look how many people I know, I'm so popular or whatever, but from a stance of like, hey, I have really valuable relationships in my life, and this is my support network. This is my tribe, like we're building here in the Quantum Elite community. And then that ability to communicate effectively, and communicate using your imagination in the way that's most relevant for you. So there's no right or wrong way to use it, but with communication comes communion. So these are the natural forms of abundance that are always here for us. And as we put less emphasis on just like money and say, wait a sec, money's part of the formula, but like Quantum Elite community, like money's part of our abundance structure, but we also have the connection, the communication, the imagination, and a variety of other ways that we're putting our time into it, right? Like we've got more than 16 classes a week right now. We've got masterminds. Like people are paying $100 a month for this, but they're getting well over $1,000 worth of value. So if we were just focused on the money, we would charge $1,000 or more for it. But number one, that wouldn't work, because it wouldn't cater to our audience to do it that way. But that's not what we want anyway. We want the money to be a component, but we want all those other components of abundance to be part of it as well.
Absolutely. And one thing that you said that was really, really key that stood out to me is the abundance of time, because time is so relevant. Like we have to realize that we live in the present, because what just happened a second ago doesn't even matter anymore. It doesn't even exist, and it's just totally irrelevant. And an abundance of time is something that is really, really priceless. And just like you touched on, all forms of abundance are pretty much equal on the scale, right? But at the same time, imagine if you had that abundance of time to be able to do what you want to do, travel, enjoy time with your family, and just live the life that you truly want to live. Most people are looking for that. Some people say they want to accumulate money, but money is just a byproduct for other forms of abundance, in my opinion. So maybe someone wants to accumulate money, but that money is so that they can get that time freedom that they want. So they're not really searching for money. They're searching for a different form of abundance, but money is a means to acquire that abundance.
Amen. That's so great. And, as you're talking here, I'm thinking, again, the way people are dishonest with themselves, and that is an inhibitor to becoming wealthier. That's an inhibitor to being rich in all the areas of life. And one of the ways that really comes up is when someone sees something that either they don't feel should look a certain way, or they're jealous of, right? Someone shouldn't be that successful, or they're more successful than me. And the ego will just kind of come out, and you'll feel this jealousy, or this feeling, or this contraction. And what we're taught in the personal development industry, for example, is when you see someone being successful, to celebrate them, and that sort of thing. And that's great. I mean, it's great to say that, but there's still a lot of artificial positivity happening in this industry, in the world certainly, but in this industry as well. And so let's get into a little bit more of the root causes of this, and we're going to do a gamma breathing process as well, to kind of elevate that out of the consciousness for you watching and for ourselves as well, because we're getting something out of this as well. A lot of speakers come up to, and this is another form of lack. Speakers come up and they say, "Oh, I don't need to do this. I'm doing this for you, not for me," and they're full of garbage, because you reach a point in your awareness where it's like, I do got to do this because this is how I teach. This is how I continue to learn. It's at a different level of leadership. So it's not, like I got to be in the audience and learn from myself, but I am learning from myself as I share and as this information streams through. So, same for Malik, same for anyone as we have guests on here, it'll be the same idea. So, what are you getting out of it is the key, but also where are you deceiving yourself? Where are you being dishonest? Where are you seeing things about money that are triggering you? And then you kind of cover it over and you're like, you know what? I shouldn't be thinking that way, or maybe you beat yourself up. So Malik, let's just open that up a bit and then we'll do the gamma breath. But, like, where do you see that? Where do you see that in your own life? Where do you see that in others with you, talking to dozens of people a day? Where do you see that sort of self-deception or self-honesty where people are, being positive about money, but really you can tell like there's an underlying level of deception there?
I mean, I think that it's just something that's been kind of passed down generationally. A lot of times people have bad conceptions about money because it's been relayed to them that way. And I think that, from the time that we're really, really young until, we mature, we're really influenced by other people and their ideals become our ideals, and it's kind of passed down in that sort of way. And then sometimes people just can't get out of that funk, right? And they end up going to work a normal job. They have ambitions, they want to be something better, but they're really scared of success, right? And that's what most people are. They're really scared of success. And if you were to tell a person that you can actually help them accomplish their goals, they would even be hesitant, even if you had the actual formula and it was simple to follow. Either they're not going to do the work because they're scared of what the success may bring, or they're just going to not pay attention to it because they just don't have the level of capacity to really feel like they could actually maintain or even acquire that level of success. And what we're trying to do is help people to become financially healthy within their mindset first and foremost, but then at the same time we can actually help people to better their lives and create residual income. And if I was to tell you that I had a formula that could actually help you accomplish a certain goal that you had financially, then you would probably be hesitant because maybe your mind cannot conceive that dollar amount. And I think that's the reason why most people have to start with something very, very small and work their way up to bigger goals. There's some people out there that I talk to because, like you said, I talk to people every single day. I'm on Zoom probably like 6 to 8 hours a day, doing calls with people from all over the world. And when I ask people, what is your goal? What is your financial goal for 2021? Most people have a big audacious goal that they don't even believe in themselves. They don't even believe that they can accomplish themselves, or they have a goal that's very, very small because they don't have the belief that they could accomplish a bigger goal, right? And I think that this is a very big problem in our industry right now. And the subconscious does not distinguish between lie and truth, and you can actually accomplish anything that you truly want to accomplish, but you have to believe it in your subconscious first that you can actually achieve that goal, and then you can bring it into your reality. And this is what I've witnessed from my own self and other people around me who are multiple 6 and 7 figure earners for sure.
Hallelujah. No, that's amazing, brother. I love how you dissect that. And this was cool. Just shout out to some of these folks. We had Fortune here, so we're talking about money, talking about abundance, and we had Fortune drop a great comment. And thanks, Rihanna, for showing up, and Charlotte. So we've got some engagement happening, which is fantastic. And before we go into the gamma activation, hopefully some of your beliefs are stirred up if you've been tracking this. There's huge value in this, by the way, because we're actually doing kind of micro sessions that we do in the classes, by the way. So if you're not participating, you're missing out. But that's your decision. And I'm going to drop in this banner here. So join us, getquantummoneynow.com. Join us for the classes that we host on Wednesdays and Sundays, where we do this for like a full hour. On Sundays, we do some group interaction as well. And really phenomenal stuff. people, you can check out my timeline, and Malik has some on his, where we have like testimonials from people just having great results, loving the class. So check that out. $20 a class. If you hate it, if it's the worst thing ever, we just give you your money back. So it's got a, money back guarantee. We only want your money if you're getting value from this. But yes, definitely check it out and, join us. So let's jump in now. Let's do a little gamma breathing. So just stir up those ideas like, I'm jealous of people that have more success, or why aren't people giving me more money, or I should have more money, or why are people always trying to take away my money, or bills come in, like anything around it. And, if you have a lot of money, like people always want my money. People always want something from me, right? Like whether you're on, it's two sides of the same coin. If you're feeling deprived, if you're feeling lack, it's the ego, because the only real lack to ever correct is the lack of being in alignment with source, the lack of having God's love and light in your life 100%. That's the only lack, right? So it doesn't matter how much money you have or, whatever. I mean, to be truly abundant is to recognize everything is here for you. So stir all that up, tune in. We're going to do 2 cycles here. We're going to do one to neutralize and dispel any negative charges, and one to amplify our abundance consciousness. So go ahead, close your eyes. And again, just tune into that negativity. It's a safe place. You're not going to manifest more of it. If you think this way, that's a fallacy that marketers built in so that they could sell you stuff in the personal development industry. Hopefully that triggers you even more. Stir it up. And now breathe all the way out of your mouth, emptying your lungs. And breathe mouth in 3 seconds. And mouth out. Nose in. Mouth out. Nose in. Nose out. Mouth in. Nose out. Mouth in. Mouth out. Hold your breath here for a moment. Just allow all those negative beliefs to dispel, all the charges, all the judgments. Just allow it to collapse in your consciousness. Surrender it to the Holy Spirit, whatever that means to you, religious or non-religious. Surrender your belief systems about reality. Let it go, breathing normal, keeping your eyes closed. And now tune into your divine inheritance, to this divine treasure chest that is awaiting you. Abundance is here, it is now, it is all around you, it is always with you. Nothing can stop you from receiving it. You may create shadows, you may create illusions that create the experience that you can't have it, but that's not true. It's simply there for your growth. So allow yourself to pierce through the veil of scarcity, pierce through the veil of lack, and know that you are a child of God, a child of creation, and you deserve all that you have, and you deserve all that is waiting for you, and you have all that you need in this moment. And allow your awareness to broaden, receive and accept all that is here for you now, breathing all the way in through your mouth, filling your lungs. And mouth out 3 seconds. And mouth in. Mouth out. Nose in. Nose out. Nose in. Nose out. Mouth in. Mouth out. And mouth in. Hold your breath and just feel that alignment with abundance. Just know in your heart that it's true. You are abundant. Just accept it. Accept God's love, accept God's power, accept your own power. All of it to return to love, a return to power, a return to truth. Allow all that energy to stream through you now. Breathing naturally and opening your eyes when you're ready. Just feel grounded and stabilized and refreshed. And Malik, how are you feeling after that?
Yeah, I always feel incredible after gamma breathing, and this is something that we've been doing for quite a while now. And it always helps me to crystallize my visions and bring them into reality. It's very powerful. The imagination is another form of abundance that I was lacking before because I didn't really know how to use that faculty. And it held me back from being able to reach my goals because I could never imagine being able to, make more than $75,000 a year because that was like the cap that I had from like my working days and things like that. So it's definitely helped me to overcome certain obstacles, get rid of some of these, psychological blocks and generational curses and all that kind of stuff. And I hope that the audience, if you guys were able to perform those gamma breaths with us, I hope that you were able to benefit from that. And, come and join us on the Wednesday class. The master class is going to be phenomenal. And it'll be a lot of fun. I think you guys will really enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's drop the link here. So just check it out. GetQuantumMoneyNow.com, 2 p.m. and 9 p.m. tomorrow on Wednesday Eastern time. And yeah, I mean, this is the space. This is the space. And everyone's at a different level. But if you gained any value from this conversation, from this exercise we just did, man, you got to check out the class. Like, this is just like 5%, if that, of what we cover on the class in terms of the energy. And, we're going to be continuing to trigger and stir up people's vibes around money because that's what we want to do, right? And we want to create this safe space for you to come and join us and just work through it and work together. And if you're ready. Some people just ain't ready, right? I had a conversation with someone today and they're just not ready. They're still in that warrior mode. They still want to fight against the system. And that's cool. Like, people can be in whatever reality they want. It's got nothing to do with you or me, but we get to respect them. We get to respect and support where they're at. And, God is unconditionally supporting, unconditionally loving. If you want to hate yourself, God supports that. And it's neither true nor false in the sense that, if you want to have that experience, you can have that experience. But once you say, hey, you know what? I'm tired of hating myself. I'm tired of living in self-deprivation. I'm tired of living with self-deceit. The door is then open to go the other way, and God supports that. So that's what unconditional love and unconditional support is. Whatever you choose to believe is supported by your environment, and your actions will follow suit as well. So when you're ready to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to put down my sword and shield. I'm done defending myself. I'm done attacking others. I'm done attacking myself. I'm done beating myself up. I surrender. I surrender. That's the link you go to, getquantummoneynow.com. It ain't for everyone, but if you're truly ready for a higher form of life, if you want to get high, HIGH, have greater honesty, integrity, gratitude, and humility, and then you want to be lit, LIT, create legacy, impact, and transformation, that's the link to check out because that's exactly what we're doing at every class. You deserve it, and we want to see you there. So check that out, and let's just finalize with a couple comments here. Let's see what people had to say. We got a very nice thumbs up. Thank you, Sophie Ann. And then we just got a Facebook user here who hasn't registered their StreamYard yet, but you've got, yeah, absolutely. Well, hopefully this person can figure out how to register on StreamYard, because we want to see your face. We want to give you some credit for showing up, and you've obviously been participating with us. So we love you. We love all our guests. And whether you dropped a comment, whether you just tuned in, we greatly appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. Any final words before we sign off here, Malik?
Absolutely. I just wanted to touch on what you said. I mean, it's definitely not for everyone. We're looking for people to work with who are trying to go into a high vibe. You know, maybe you're someone who's been plagued with a victimhood mindset, right? And you can't get out of that bad habit of always thinking about the negative things that could happen rather than thinking about the positivities and what could happen, right? And we have something that's absolutely incredible that we've put together. And I know that there's people out there that may be listening to like Tony Robbins. Maybe they might be listening to like Bob Proctor or doing some affirmations and things like that. But maybe you're not getting the results that you really want to get in the real world, right? This is where the magic happens. This is where you take, the things that you really want to accomplish in your life, and you make those things become a reality. And it all starts with your mindset. It all starts with your vibration. And once you get on the same vibration as your goals or the form of abundance that you're looking to have in your life, those things just start to gravitate towards you. And that's what I've seen. And for those of you guys who want to be added to my VIP chat, I definitely have some space available for you. So just comment Go Quantum right here below, and I can add you into my VIP chat so that you can participate in some of these classes that we have. We have 16 classes 7 days a week. So I know that you can't participate in all of them, but I know that there's some of them that will really help you in so many different ways. And I would love to see you guys there. So this is my open invitation.
Absolutely. So connect with Malik. He'll also set you up with our class too, or you can just go directly to getquantummoneynow.com, and we'll hook you guys up. And it's a blessing to have you in our lives, and we look forward to getting to know you more and have you come out to the class. Let's have one more comment here. Oh, we got a couple. We got some fire from Imran. That's awesome, brother.
Right on.
And here he is. Oh, thanks, Imran. We appreciate the love there.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, we love you, and we'll see you guys in the class tomorrow. Bye for now.